welcome to the House Beyond the Supernatural podcast, the podcast that goes beyond the supernatural. All music comes from Verse 13, Shadow Symphony, and Public Domain. All printing for the podcast is provided by Rainbow Press, Omaha, Nebraska. For more details about this podcast, you can find them on the houseofbts.net. Tonight's cast includes Peter, the parapsychologist, played by Nick. Cass, the psychic medium and astrophysicist, played by Kirk. Zia, the physical psychic and extreme athlete, played by Shannon. Dr. Baldwin, the doctor, played by me, Arn. And the host of BTS as the game master, Steve. That was all out of order, but nobody really cares about that. They just want to hear my sexy, sexy voice.
It's never going to give that up, is it? The show got more downloads.
Twice as many downloads today. Twice as many. 2 times as many downloads as yours.
Greetings and welcome back, everyone. Season 2!
Season 2! Baby!
So, Nick, our editor, has decided this is to be the start of our second season.
Yeah, bitches.
So there it is. Quick rant to get into as I was reminded of this crap. Again, I hear all this crap when I'm at work. So it's you guys get the joy of listening to quick bits of it all here. I'd like to remind the players in the room and for those listening that your character does not exist outside of the things you say or do. I might have said something like this in the past, but it's a good reminder because I keep hearing this stuff come up.
No way.
Yeah, you can write as many pages of backstory as you like, but they don't factor in one bit to the game unless you show it happening. So, if you're, are you some kind of gifted neurosurgeon with a genius level intelligence? Sweet! Act smarter than everyone. Act like a know-it-all. Do doctor stuff. Then do it all in front of everyone else. Are you an extreme wrestling wrestler who likes to eat a lot and drink vodka and stab at things with knives? Great, do all that. Do you like to talk like this when you have an injury on your cheek? And do you talk to ghosts? It's great. Talk to the ghosts.
Talk to the ghosts like that.
I'm waiting to talk to the ghosts.
And Nick, who had one of his most dramatic bits I've ever seen in his gamer history, and I was rather proud of him last night. I did. I was almost
Podcaster of the year right there.
I was close to getting a little teary-eyed over it. He was playing it well, but the point is, he was doing it. Where I'm going with all this is where was I going with that?
It's not real.
Basically,
it's not real, people.
That's not what he's saying.
It's real.
It's real.
It's all real, man.
Just like pro wrestling.
and the Easter Bunny, all right?
I believe in both.
I'm sure you do.
Me too. I still think it's real.
Point is, struggle through the interactions with other NPCs and the villains. Don't go off and sit in and just kind of tree the whole time. I bring this
John.
up. I have to bring this up periodically because I had a character or a player in my group at one point who was extremely bad at this and basically did all the role playing with his character for the most part in his head. If you want us to know or do something, you have got to bring that to the table. There was at one point, he begged me to get him more involved in this particular situation. I gave him that situation. He just kind of sat there and looked at me like he was doing it all in his head and kind of had a quick side note to it and moved on. There was just nothing else really to it. And, things like that. Again, our group and the GM can only know what you're doing by your actions and discussing and what have you. Let us, make your characters known at your table. Don't do it in your head. It's good. It's not any good to anybody.
I'm always telling myself that I need to be more descriptive, but then I never think about being descriptive when I should be descriptive.
Hold on, I'm playing in my head right now.
See, my point exactly.
Not descriptive as much as I'd like to, because I'd stop doing. What the fuck is wrong with me?
That would be a boring podcast if we all played in our heads.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This would pretty much be the whole table. All right.
Oh yeah, wow.
I'd be giggling a lot.
But the point is, you got to bring it to the table. It's my advice. I hear this problem come up periodically, and I heard it again over the last couple weeks, so I made a note to bring it up tonight. You only exist through your actions. It is not the responsibility of the other players to read your backstory, which is another one that drives. Here, read my backstory. I'll tell you everything about me. I hate that. It's. I'm glad that you spent the time. I'll read it as the GM because I have to.
Can everybody see my
John
history?
Babylon
What does it say on my history,
was
everybody?
extremely unhappy that nobody tried to look
There's
into his history
nothing!
or fact check anything about him because he had. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? He had preparations for that. Whole websites.
Well, no one ever knew.
In
him,
fact,
but
there
his
was
last
a
and everybody's first
philanthropical
Oh,
organization.
now he's going to make him sound like a saint.
I don't
that
have
he's
it.
dead.
Oh no, it's completely fake.
Here's my point exactly. In his head,
But
he
if
had plenty of
if you
this.
put the words together, it made an interesting. I don't remember what it said, shitheads or something like that. If
It was
you put
an
all the words
awesome,
together, but
What's that called? Is that an anagram?
So, and none of
Whatever.
us can read minds, even our psychic characters. So, but you know what I mean? You shouldn't have to. Display your talents, your traits, your weaknesses, your connections. Get teary-eyed like Nick when he's talking in his character. That's where the experience points. That's where the stuff comes in. It is RPGs. A big part of it is drama and action and reaction and responses. Get it all out there. Let it all hang out. Shannon, I didn't mean it literally. Put your top back on.
Hey, it's not my top, it's Zia's.
Whoa! Whoa!
Duh.
Zia. The Iron Curtain has fallen.
Ba-doom!
I can see your Kremlin.
Let's see here. Yeah, the other last quick note on that is the one that keeps coming up is you got to take full control of your characters, people. I used to hear this one a lot, and I think people have gotten over this. But back in the day, and apparently still on occasion, everyone has this. My character wouldn't do that. Nothing makes me crazier as a GM than a character. Somebody says, "Well, my character wouldn't do this or that," so they don't do it or don't do anything really about it. To me, that is a boring excuse and a massive no to the game story on a fundamental level. Basically, to me, it is a point-blank refusal to participate. And it drives me crazy. Characters in uncomfortable situations are the meat and drink of drama, and drama is important in any RPG game. You remember that great story about the homebody, doily-loving hobbit who told Gandalf to go screw himself, and he asked him to go on an adventure with him and sat at home picking those hairy toes all day before his entire village was swallowed up by armies of darkness?
That was Dildo Baggins, right?
No! No, it was not. You know why? Because that story didn't happen.
Yeah, and his name wasn't Dildo either.
He put on his backpack and he got out there. That's my whole point. Don't get so caught up in the minutia of your character that you end up doing nothing. I know Arnie and I have brought this up once or twice, that we had characters that did that exact thing, and we ended up just kind of sitting on the sidelines the whole damn game watching it happen without us. I think it was something with mine. It was, I rolled a character he was basically very antisocial, didn't like people. It was like all random rolls for that crap. I ended up missing the whole game hiding in my quarters the whole time. It was lame. It was horrible. You gotta find your excuses and reasons to get past that. If your character's not part of the adventure, you're missing out. And I think I'll just go ahead and beat that dead horse no more. All right, everyone, get set and get into character.
Subscribe. Comment.
Shannon would like to remind us to.
A little bit of housekeeping. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Twitter. houseofbts.net. Please, please, please subscribe. Comment. We can't change anything you're unhappy with if we don't know. And we always love to hear we're doing great.
And Cass requests more fish food to be sent to him because the kids in him get hungry.
Get around me!
So, alright, now everyone get set and get into character, because it is time to go beyond the supernatural. First thing for each of you to do. Everyone, make me a roll on save versus disease, except for Baldwin, please. Well, hell, actually, Baldwin, you do it too.
My character wouldn't
You were
do
dealing in all the filth and disease tonight.
I wore gloves. Do I get a bonus?
Sure, I'll give you a +1.
11. I don't have fish in me. It's not pertaining to that, right?
It is not pertaining to the fish.
17.
18.
9.
12. I can't add.
You shouldn't have to add. You should just have a number over there that says you meet it or not.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Okay. So you don't need to add, just need to compare. Now, where was I?
Roll for disease.
Ah, yes. I was diseasing everyone. Or you were diseasing yourselves.
Usually.
I disease you all with my presence. Woo-ha-ha. Alright, so everyone save versus Z. So you got to roll a die, Shannon. She's got a brand new set of dice, for those who didn't catch it. She just made her first roll.
They're par for the course.
And, yeah, more of the same to be expected from Shannon.
That's usually how it works.
Some things never change.
Nope.
Alright. Well, Cass,
Hey.
as requested by Smite, not simply suggested, everyone's to take some days off and recoup and recover. Well, Cass, the last 2 days in another world has been a mix of the best and worst 2 days of your life. Concentrating on the best of it, as an astrophysicist, your area of research includes a substantial amount of theoretical and observational physics. Stepping into another world, or a dimensional plane of existence, even a pocket dimension, according to Peter, goes beyond anything you could ever have expected to experience. You've seen with your own eyes what have only been theories up until now. Dimensional doorways in other worlds. Witnessing these things and knowing of their existence, not theorizing that they exist, but knowing, is a sheer triumph, even as this experience leaves you with more questions than answers. How does dimensional pocket exist? How are dimensional doorways accomplished? What powers them? Dark matter? Dark energy? Something else entirely? Can the mechanics behind dimensional doors be used to create wormholes or time traveling? As the universe is truly multi-dimensional, is it also multi-universal? These are all the kind of questions astrophysicists ask of themselves and try to theorize. Then there was the inexplicable astronomy of the sky. You swore that you recognized something familiar about that night sky, but you need to do more research and studying with the notes and sketches you made while you were over there. The next time you're at the office, you'll have plenty of research ahead of you. That is, if you still have a job as a researcher at the Institute. Your unexpectedly being spirited away to another world meant that you were a no-call, no-show at your job yesterday. And you just happen to have a hard-ass supervisor named Calvin with an ironic last name like Leeway, who hates no-call, no-shows and has terminated colleagues of yours in the past over them. Knowing Calvin, coming in with a bandaged-up face will not bring you much sympathy. At minimum, you can expect to be chewed out. At most, you could be fired. How do you intend to handle this situation, Cass?
Okay.
As he's over here cracking his knuckles.
Because I'm pretty sure I don't have my weapons on me.
I would like to assume
Because
as much.
I would leave them behind at the warehouse, correct?
Would you?
Would you?
Is it a conceal and
would
carry
Cass
state?
take his guns home with him?
I don't
Or would
know.
he
Is
leave
Washington a concealed carry?
This escalated
Oh, yeah,
very
you can have a
quickly.
concealed carry there.
I've been a little jumpy since coming back to from another dimension, or wherever we were, pocket dimension.
If I was an astrophysicist and I concealed carried, I probably wouldn't take it into the workplace, but I would leave it in a locked box that was secured by, at minimum, a cable inside your car.
Yeah, what he said.
So they would have to steal the whole vehicle to get the gun, basically.
Yes.
No, you can pry it open, but I mean, you could
Might just
cut
be
it if
easier
you
to
had the
steal
right
it
equipment.
first.
But
Okay, so
you keep it out of sight so nobody sees it.
let me see. Is Calvin in the room with me, chewing me out right now, or am I in there doing research?
This is at the point where you would as soon as you would get there, Oh, yeah, there is a note at your desk to go and see Calvin immediately.
All right, here we go.
You have entered Calvin's office.
All right, Calvin, you wanted to see me?
Giving you one of his shit looks, he says, "Yeah, have a seat at one of the two chairs in front of his desk."
Okay.
He says, "Let me get to the point. What could possibly have kept you from calling in or showing up as you're expected to do?"
I was doing some independent research for a current case file I'm working on.
For the Institute?
Yeah, we'll say it was for the Institute.
Oh my god. Somebody's gonna get fired. It says, "I do not show that you are involved in any such research right now."
It was G4 classified.
Are you feeling all right?
I'm good. How are you?
What are you? He's kind of does. He's kind of aiming at your cheek with his finger. He's like, "What are you?"
What you got? I got something on my face. Yeah, it's right here.
I get the impression that you're not too concerned about the security of your job by your responses right now.
The shit that I've been through lately, no. My little job doesn't seem all that significant to me right now.
Look, Cass, here at the Newton Institute for Astrophysics and Space Research, we are one of the world's leading institutions for research in astrophysics. We excel in space and ground-based instrumentation development. And do you know how we accomplish all that, Cass?
By bootlicking and cocksucking major donors.
Nick, edit here.
This could go two ways. Either he really likes you now.
Oh, I love it. All right, let's get back into this. I'm going to be quiet.
Oh my god.
You have those brand new 10-sided dice. Would you make a roll for me on them, please?
Percentage or
Percentage, yes. I'm looking for a percentage roll.
3?
Oh, 3. Perhaps one of the, based on 3, perhaps one of the most unexpected responses that you could have possibly seen happens. You actually get these ever so briefest, slightest smiles of amusement out of Calvin before he manages to straighten his shit back up. He says, "No, that is not the case at all.
I'm pretty sure it is.
We accomplish all this through the intellectual energy of our research and technical staff.
And cocksucking.
When our researchers don't show up and do their work, we can't meet the needs of the contracts and grants that keep us going."
Yeah, that's why you do a little tickling of the balls and you'll be good.
Another percentage over there, please.
The answer to life, the universe, and everything.
That was your dice are having some interesting numbers over there. Taking a moment to straighten his glasses and looks like he's trying to choose his words a little more carefully. Look, Cass, you're a good astrophysicist.
Good, I'm the best you have.
And you're also a good programmer, and those aren't easy traits to come by together. However, it doesn't matter how good you are if you're not here performing your research. Now, do we have an understanding?
I missed how much? How many days of work?
No, your answer to what you got. No, you were only gone a day.
And you're throwing a hissy fit for a day?
That's my job. I am your supervisor. No call, no shows. We take them seriously here at the Institute.
Yeah. Okay. Am I gonna get written up?
Well, consider this your this is a verbal warning. The next one does have to result.
Damn, because I wanted to wipe my ass with a piece of paper and shove it in your mouth.
All right. I think I've heard enough. What do you have percentage roll again, please?
16.
16. All right. What is your what's your MA on your character sheet? I'm curious now.
I got an 11.
11. All right. You're well, right now you're probably pushing a 12 or 13 with attitudes.
I've had a really rough couple days.
Well, I can see that. It looks if I didn't know any better, I think you were in an accident, judging by the. Look, I'm gonna cut you a break. Yeah, it looks like obviously you're distressed. Do you need to take the day off?
Okay.
Go home. Find some zen. We have good insurance here. Yeah, see somebody if you have to. I expect you. If give me a call. Let me know how things are going. If you're coming back tomorrow or not, and work on the attitude by then, huh?
I think he's trying to get you to quit.
You're off.
Employment good.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're not there.
All right. So, I'm going to let discretion be the better part of the day.
Yeah, you have been so discreet.
For right now. Have fun. I'll see you in a day.
On a side note, Arnie is not wrong. God, human resources, man, what a...
That's why I was trying to get you to fire me the entire time.
Well, her wonderful rainbow
You didn't try
dice.
good enough.
I can only roll really well for other people.
I
think the other two situations, you could try to do a full Fight Club thing where you start beating the shit out of yourself. Or you accuse him of some sort of sexual harassment, so he has to stop doing what he's doing, and we gotta let HR investigate before anything else happens.
Well, Cass, since you somehow still have your job, and as you're about to stand up and leave, Cass, you could kill him so easily right now, and you know it. Just jump over that desk, grab him by the throat, and squeeze him till he stops struggling. He's an old man. He's a relic. He'd be so easy to overcome.
It's tempting.
So easy.
It's
Calvin
easy to give
up
in.
with his pen and paper. Excuse me?
Look
Oh,
at his
nothing.
smug face.
I'll see you in a day.
Very well.
He's mocking you.
So, Cass, your next 4 days will be spent in performing researching as well as recovering and healing. Give me a roll for your following skills. I need one for your computer operation.
23.
Success.
Success.
Cool. And one for computer programming.
3, so success.
Nice. Technical writing.
Fail on that one.
Research.
Success.
Astronomy.
Success.
And astrophysics.
Success.
All right. The result of those rolls will be revealed in the days to come, but I have noted the ones. Peter, it is mid-afternoon in the warehouse conference room. Today has been an eye-opener on just how much paperwork there is to fill out when starting a new case file. The entire conference table is covered in various papers, books, laptop PCs, and other related items. For starters, make a roll under your creative writing skill and add a 10% bonus due to leading the investigation and therefore having hands-on experience of the details.
I got not 9.
With bonuses or before?
Whoa,
So
without.
You're kind of like a negative 9 there.
-9.
Very nice. You creatively wrote your ass off. What you wrote probably looks magical.
Call me Peter. I rewrite Moby Dick.
Once the paperwork has been completed, Kendra takes the folder to file it away into the file room next door. Edmund places his digital recorder on the table between you both and presses the record button. This is Dr. Edmund Smythe. This is a recording session for case file 201910-01. I'm interviewing Dr. Peter Corrigan concerning his personal experience in the case file thus far. And to start, Peter, this case file began when I received a phone call from a friend who works for the Seattle PD. He said an eyewitness saw what he described as a monster prowling the Elliott Bay area. I suspected it as a malignus and asked you to assemble a team and and investigate. Specifically, Cass and John went with you. What made you decide to search the storm drain?
Well, John had an idea that if you couldn't find him above ground, where else would he be? Would he be indoors or would he be underground? So we decided that the best place to look for a malignus was probably underground.
And did you discover a malignus during that time?
No, we did not.
What did you find?
We ran into some fish, humanoids, you could say, in the sewer system. They were later called the Children of Kwama, that we found out. They infected all three of us, actually. And we'll talk about that later.
All right, it's my understanding, the way you described it to me, you basically fell through a dimensional doorway of some sort?
Right. They were transdimensional. Through water, they could transport you to a different world. Jungle-type planetoid.
And so it's my understanding you believed it to be a pocket dimension.
Right.
And it had again, not that I'm trying to lead you in the questioning here. I'm just trying to help smooth out a couple of details. So you said you had found runes that, seeing how, I think you said it was something along the lines. It felt like a pre-colonial era Central America.
Right. It's very Central America, very Aztec, very Incan.
But without the recognizable Aztec
right.
symbology. We
looked for petroglyphs and carvings, but there was none that reminded us of anything Incan or Aztec.
It's my understanding you had experienced a tree demon. Is my understanding. When I did some investigating here, I spoke with Cassie. He had mentioned that, and so did Zia. What was the story behind that?
Right. I actually have photos of this. I am working on them right now.
Fantastic.
Editing them as we speak. I should have them on your desk within a couple of days. Well, it started off like a loud rumbling sound coming through the jungle. So we just kept walking, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's this giant tree coming through the forest. I did a sense evil spell, and it came up demon. And so we decided that we were going to fight it instead of letting it kill us, which was probably a mistake. We should have probably just ran and saved some time. But hindsight's hindsight. It's 2020.
Understood. And it's my understanding then, once Zane had tracked you down, and the group of you made your way back to where you believe the portal was, there was expected to be a stable portal.
Right, and there wasn't. It was closed. And at that time, we left John and Zane in relative comfort with a fire and a roof over their head, while Cass and Zia and I followed a spirit that was talking to Cass, and he led us to some berries that helped us to fight the effects momentarily of the Children of Kwama that were inside of us.
Zia described them as being milkberries. Was how she referred to them. They had a consistent with a milky white.
Right. Yeah, they weren't very tasty. They were actually kind of wretched. And we forced them down us, and then we returned to John.
And when you had returned to John?
We found it to be about 2 minutes. maybe 30 seconds too late, as he was already in the throes of pain and giving, or having, children of Kwama ripped through his stomach.
It's unfortunate.
And starting to devour him.
And that's according to Cass and Zia, a fight ensued between some of the children, but one of them had separated from the pack
and went into the forest.
And how did you find your way back?
Well, after we subdued the, as we have come to know them as the Children of John, the portal opened, and we went through it.
All right, and for now, this will remain an open case file, as there are still some unanswered questions. John had mentioned before, you weren't part of this, but before as we were grounding up a team to come and find you in this other dimension, John had mentioned there was a group in black that had shown up at some point, as well as more of these children creatures in the water. It was vague details. He didn't have much to offer on that, so that's something I'm putting a pin in for later. I'm hoping for more info on. And if indeed my theory is that the portal I had opened was probably because that creature that had separated from the rest of the group had created it, and it's gone through, which means there is still a viable, well, going by the lore, a sister of Kwama that's still out there and running free, which means eventually we might where there's a sister, eventually more will start showing up. So currently I am leaving this as an open file. But you agree with that?
I would agree.
That is all that I have to offer, all the questions I have. Anything else you want to add to the digital recording before I turn this off?
I think that's pretty much all I have to say.
All right. Edmund Smythe signing off. After turning off the recorder, Edmund asks, now, tell me, Peter, how are you doing?
Not good. I believe this was my fault. I believe if I wouldn't have gotten John involved, he would still be alive. Cass wouldn't be hurt. Zia would be... Well, I think Zia's fine. Zia's Zia.
She's Zia.
She's strong like bear.
This is something that we'll touch base on regularly, but and I know it's hard. I've lost members myself. I've been exactly where you're at, and what I can offer right now, and I know it's hard to see, but this is the kind of risk we take as investigators. People are going to get injured. They are going to get maimed, and occasionally there is going to be deaths involved. But I would also like to have you look at this from another angle of, had we not gotten involved with those creatures that night, just imagine how much more multiplication there might have been and how many others might be affected today. What we do, it's dangerous, but it is necessary.
Right. No, I understand that. It's just sometimes you see so much death and you just can't get over it.
I understand, and that's why, again, I'm asking everyone to take a few days to kind of settle and get with it. But and again, my office is always open if you need, should you need us. But otherwise, I'll let you go, and whatever. The rest of the day is yours. I don't want to keep harping on it.
Thanks, Doc.
Well, Peter. Walking down the steps to leave the warehouse, you see Hannah is hard at work on improvements to the oddball. She's wearing work coveralls and a safety visor over her face, and she is soldering something onto the frame that holds the helmet together and stabilizes the tech inside it. It looks like she's adding on a small video screen. Finishing up, she puts the soldering tools aside and raises her visor to get a closer look. Looking satisfied, she leans back in her chair and looks for her drink. And spotting you as doing so, she smiles. Dr. Corrigan, you're just in time. I need you to test the night vision screen.
Oh, night vision screen? That'd be really helpful.
That was the next thing on you. That was the first thing on your requested list, so that's what we're doing.
I forgot about the list. Sorry, there was just a lot of happened this week.
I understand. But here, let me put this back together. Let's try it on.
How does this work?
After you got the thing back on your melon, Hannah says, now let me go and hit the lights. And after I do, you say, oddball, activate night vision into your mouthpiece. She darts across the warehouse and turns on the lights, bathing you in ample darkness.
Oddball, activate night vision.
With a motorized whirring sound, you see a small rectangular video monitor move in front of your eyes, and a familiar green field of vision fires up on the screen. From your radio piece in the helmet, you hear say, now, look around, get a feel for that monitor, and try to walk and find me in the dark. Peter, you're going to need a perception roll for this.
14.
Excellent. With some searching and work and getting a feel for the night vision, you find Hannah crouched behind a support beam, and you're now standing next to her. Pleased with the results, she stands up and says, like regular night vision, don't let beams of light hit you square in the face, or the big eye in this case, but otherwise it looks like it's working. You should be able to switch from night vision back to light mode by voice command. So look away from me and then say, oddball, turn on the lights.
Oddball, turn on the lights.
As expected, the monitor lifts and moves away from your vision, and the lighting in your helmet ignites. Okay, now lead me back to the breaker as it gets strangely dark in here. Okay. Turning on the light, she says, so you know, the more tech I'm coming to realize that the more stuff I shoehorn into this thing, the faster the battery is going to be draining, so don't abuse the power source. I might be able to extend the battery life if you were willing to wear a power pack that you could plug into the oddball when needed, but that's for another project.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Also, the more damage that thing takes, the less likely the tech is to stop working. Just keep that in mind. Too much abuse and none of the toys in there might work.
Yeah,
I've got them strapped to the frame as best as I can, but it's tech, it's touchy. And all this is prototype first-time stuff. In time, they might get better.
Right.
But I'm working with what we got. And I plan to start working on the UV lighting next week after I finish tweaking the night vision response.
Did she get a chance to change the color scheme like I asked?
She says, now that you're here, you can work on it with me.
Great.
What do you want to do with it?
I'm going to go for a less conspicuous color scheme. So we're going to go black with a little bit of gray instead of the bright red and white. So it's going to be a little darker thanks to kind of reflect how I'm feeling right now.
So I will get the paints out and get started on it shortly.
Great. Thank you.
And the both of you carry on discussing what else to do with the oddball, which gives us an opportunity to go over to Zia.
Yeah.
Well, Zia, the impossible has been happening to you over the last few days. You've gotten sick. Headaches, fevers, chills, the works. You must have caught something in that alien world. Nothing else would make sense to you. You're not sure when the last time you actually got sick. And after 2 days of dealing with it, you're not getting any better. Give me another save on your on the save versus disease, coincidentally.
The same. I failed.
Nice to know I can rely on your dice.
Yep.
Because I don't know what I would have done if you actually... No, I read it written as you failed. If you succeeded, I'd have been derailed. After 2 days of this, Alina, who's fed up with seeing you so sick, calls Dr. Smythe for help and advice, threatening and accusing him of you getting affected with a dimensional bug, as she put it. Dr. Edmund does all he can to offer her, to calm and state it's nothing serious like that. And he does, however, he gives her an address to a place called the Teacher of the Light Meditation and Yoga Studio. And with kind of a bewildered look, when she hangs up the phone, Edmund says you should go see Mant, who runs studio. I don't care for yoga, but Edmund say this Gurdeep will help you with sickness.
Well, I'm laying around here doing nothing, so let us go.
Very well. Come, I drive you. You can see this man while I run the errand. Gertie, or this teacher of the light place, is located in one of the hipster locations of town, right in the middle of it.
Look at all these man buns.
I like beards.
They're
but
hemp
man
necklaces.
buns?
They're hemp necklaces.
These men spend more time on their hair than they do anything else.
Skinny jeans. Ugh.
You squish your twig and berries and they do not work anymore.
And lumberjack shirts.
Pretty much.
They all leave me feeling gross. Trying to find the right word.
I feel gross, but I do not know if it's bug or men.
Looking at the front facade of the building, it has very much a kind of an Asian flair is the way to look at it. It's got the colors that are kind of a passive, cool, basically comforting style of colors, and it looks like there's symbols that you're not quite familiar with on it as well. Otherwise, it is a facade with an open door. All the windows have been covered, and it's covered in various information of yoga, meditation, Reiki, all sorts of things that you've probably never heard of.
She'll kind of look at the front of the shop and kind of shrug and, well, go in.
I will be back in an hour or so.
Okay, take your time.
Front door. It takes you into what looks like a waiting area, which again, full of various meditation flair. There are pillows on the ground, as opposed to chairs to sit in. There is a door there is a door ahead of you. There is a flip sign on it says "Currently in session" is what it states on it. And a moment after getting the chance to read that door and taking in the atmosphere, that door opens, and an incredibly muscly man comes walking out, being escorted by his girlfriend, or what you would assume would be his girlfriend, maybe trainer assistant, whatever she is. She's nursing him because he looks absolutely beat red, like he has just had the absolute crap beat out of him.
She'll kind of chuckle at him.
Men.
He kind of gives you a rather pissy look before the gal that's with him. Ignore her. Come on, let's get you to the doctor. The door has an automatic shut, so the door swings shut. Probably a minute or two later, the door opens, and what you see is probably one of the most well-toned but skinniest looking, maybe 60, 70-year-old Hindu men that you have ever seen. Everything about him is all gray. He has a wiry beard. He has wild curly gray hair. And he maybe stands, near as you could tell, maybe 5.5 feet tall at most. And looking at you, oh, I didn't know we had another... Or no, you must be... Edmund told me somebody with a Z was coming. I didn't write it down.
You can call me Z. She's kind of sizing him up. She doesn't really want to put all the information out there yet.
Edmund tells me that you are a physical psychic.
Yes, sir.
That's great. I'm a physical psychic.
Okay.
He says it's my understanding that you're needing some help with some of your trance work. You're not feeling well.
How much did he tell you?
He told me enough that you weren't feeling well, and he says you have a mother, caretaker who threatened to hand feed him his colon if you didn't have somebody getting rid of your space bug. There seems to be there's a couple of dialogue notes in there, and I didn't quite catch it all.
First of all, she's not my mother. She acts like my mother. However, I do have some sort of sickness we brought back from another dimension.
He says, well, come on in. I'm going I'm going to help you work on your meditation techniques. It's my understanding that's not your finest trait. Of course, I can tell just by looking at you, you do plenty of physical activity, but I think right now looks like you need a little mind exercise.
I suppose this cannot hurt.
Would you like tea?
Do you have vodka?
It's going to be that kind of day. I do not. I have buchna.
Kombucha?
Yes, there it is.
Deal.
See, Shannon might actually know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
I know this is one of those weird health beverages. There's supposed to be a healthy beer. I think that's what it's called, like kombucha or something.
Kombucha
I've
is
seen
a
them.
fermented tea drink.
Yes,
I have not
and
tried it. I'm
it's good.
scared of it.
It's
Is
good.
it good?
It's good. Just don't.
Lily's kind of gotten into them, and I tried like a peach one. It didn't. It's weird, but I think in time I could learn
If
to
you
like
get
it.
if you get like like a fruit flavored one, it's like a strawberry one or something like that. It's good. Stay away from the ginger.
Welcome to the Healthy Drink Corner.
This is your this is your health tip from from the group tonight. Well, with some kombucha in the system now, and in the studio, you can't help but notice it's about 30 degrees warmer in here than it was outside, and sweating seems to be unavoidable. He's got candles everywhere of various incense and fragrances and smells. It's kind of dark in the room. He offers you a looks like an old school yoga mat to sit on. And he sits cross-legged, asking you to sit on the other side of him.
She will do that.
He takes off his shirt, showing again that incredibly overly toned 70-year-old man that he is. Gray curly hairs on the chest. That's probably the vision you're seeing. That's probably how weird that is.
If you want, I can show my chest hair too.
Oh no, that is no. I just find shirtless more comforting. And so what if I do, Arnie? You got a problem with that?
Disgusting.
Maybe I like them experienced, alright? He's a 70-year-old Hindu man and physical psychic. He could do some amazing things, alright? Now that I've thoroughly grossed the table out. They can't even look me in the eye anymore. Heebie-jeebies! Alright, I would like to refer everyone who's wondering what the hell I'm about to talk about to get to the physical psychic section, which I believe is about page 74. Hot damn. Obviously, I've looked at this book way too many times. He explains you probably just simply lack of experience. In time, you might have discerned this for yourself, but I'm going to help you, kind of say, you're in the express lane today now. You probably have meditation and trance techniques you aren't even aware that you have. And in particular, I would like you to rest and work with me and find what is referred to as a curative trance. We physical psychics all have this trait about us, and it'll help you reduce the symptoms and damages and penalties from poisons, infections, and illnesses and such while you're in the trance. It is one of the best ways that I've experienced as far as breaking fevers and aches and chills and such that you can't quite seem to kick. It's rare that we get sick, but when we do, we feel it hard. Are you following me?
I am, and this sounds like a good idea. I'm losing it.
She's Southern
Wow.
Russian.
Zia went Russian redneck. I'm not quite sure what happened right there.
I don't know either. I was
That
reading.
was weird. I think you just invented an accent right there. I don't think I've ever quite heard that
It's my
before.
next character. Let's kill Zia now.
Zia, we're gonna kill Zia for a redneck Russian.
I refuse to meditate. I will die from this.
I will break y'all.
Oh no, but after that downward spiral, she's going to nod and prepare to learn.
He takes you one moment at a time, teaching you some breathing exercises, getting you into a yoga-like position, which is probably a really weird, kind of silly feeling thing to do. Again, this is everything he is trying to teach you is not what you have ever really experienced. You are a professional samba fighter. Everything is about hard and fierce and brutal and oncoming, and generally no one walks away from a training session unharmed. Sometimes people end up with broken limbs or hospitalized. That is good old-fashioned training right there for you. This is none of that. It's alien. It is bizarre. And now, give me a percentage roll, please. He's having you practice breathing exercises and telling you what you like to look for. It's
40%.
Oh, I saw it now. Never mind. The crowd is distracting. Give me one more roll.
71.
So at first it doesn't feel like it's really happening. Yeah, you swear that you're not getting into any kind of meditative trance, but then a moment later you feel some harsh palm slaps upon your cheek.
Which one?
Her left and right. Where was I? You're suddenly snapped out of your trance by Alina, who's shaking you harshly with yelling at you to wake up. Zia, wake up before I slap you silly.
Why are you slapping me?
She says, "'Cause I get here, you look like you fell asleep sitting up."
This is not why I came here. To get better. I am working on getting better, and you hit me in the face.
Coming with a fresh offering of kombucha, Gurdeep says, "No, it was my fault. When you went into a trance, you looked so peaceful and calm. I just thought I'd let you enjoy just enjoy the experience for a moment. You snapped over pretty quick, though. That was rather impressive."
How long have I been out?
Oh, about 3 hours.
I better be fucking healed.
You can say you are feeling a lot better. Your fever and chills and such have been, they are reduced. And in fact, you can almost swear it feels like your fever has broke.
She'll kind of stretch and smile at her friend, Alina. I need to learn names.
Well, I start now.
So I hope your errands were successful, because I think this was a good idea to come here.
Well, he's good. Otherwise, I'd break Edmund for wasting time.
Even for me, that seems very drastic.
Gurdeep, again, goes over the breathing techniques, resting positions. He goes over some of this stuff is probably over your head, but it seems he's done well enough that, he was able to teach you to do whatever it is it's going to take to get there.
She'll give him a little fist bump, because he doesn't seem like the type of guy who'd fist bump.
And yeah, certainly too, holding out his one of those things. It takes him a moment. And you have a bigger fist than he does, coincidentally.
And she'll nod at him and go to leave.
He gives you a namaste and goes about his way. Getting back into Alina's car. As you're getting your seatbelt on, Alina reaches around the back seat, retrieving what looks like a big shoebox and places it in your lap. "I get you something. Open it."
She'll go ahead and open it.
Inside are a pair of large knives. Both of them are sheathed and look new. "I find friend who doesn't want to be known. You get these for me. They are Russian, dear girl. They are called Kitsyarl DV1s. They are both hunting and combat knife of choice for Far East region Spetsnaz. I get them in matte black for you. Even got them in walnut handles. Very authentic."
She'll turn the knives over in her hands, kind of looking them over, and I almost feel bad for yelling at you. This very kind. Thank you.
You are my girl. Always will be. With that, Dr. Baldwin, we are going into a 4 days later at this point. After the limited success of your operation of attempting to remove a spinal tumor from a patient this morning, your afternoon has involved...
Stop. What do you mean limited success?
I'm explaining it as a limited success. Your afternoon has involved journaling and documenting
I'm doing
the
an
details.
awful lot of surgeries lately. When you get to be my stature, you get to pick and choose of the best. They don't want to overwork you. Someone's going to have to talk to somebody about my scheduling.
This is a classic case of doing everything right, and you'll still only get limited success. We are in experimental territory here.
I am amongst the best surgeons in the megaverse. No surgeons have a better skill than me. Under Palladium's rules.
Under Palladium rules. So your afternoon has involved journaling and documenting the details of the surgery, spending some time researching this particular area of neurosurgery.
No, my afternoon consisted of me dictating those details to an underling who can write them down.
Fair enough. Let's see here, and as required, you'll need to visit the patient after she's regained consciousness, which you get a note from a nurse that she has.
Is it though?
That's what that's what's in the journals. Stated by the other experimenting doctors out there. So that's your choice. You can go and visit her or let her be.
I think I would rather do things on my own and not follow the advice of inferior doctors.
Then I will bypass any...
I'm going to assume the other medical providers in charge of her recovery will keep me informed of anything unusual. Hopefully they can write at a high school level.
Bypassing all that. Here we go. Bypassing all that.
I've got better time. I've got better things to do with my time.
In that case,
all that.
we will bring you to your office. Here's an interesting moment. Bathroom break eventually is required of yourself. You are human, still need to pee on occasion.
He meditates it away.
Meditation.
Catheter.
Snake oil.
I was just saying, yeah, would Baldwin ever really meditate, first off?
A real surgeon would insert a catheter before a long surgery.
He's not doing surgery at his desk.
Maybe he's doing a lot of paperwork.
I don't have time. I insert a catheter to do paperwork.
I'm going to go to the urinal, and I'm going to really just Lyndon Johnson it in case anybody else comes in there. I'm just going to, talk to the people directly. Not hiding anything. Waving my junk around.
This is one of those nice card key bathrooms that only the
intimidating.
The senior staff would happen to have access to.
Well, that doesn't bother me.
I'm just stating, it's not like you're going to see a bunch of nurses.
Lyndon Johnson didn't have a bunch of weirdos in his bathrooms either.
And then there was a reason for it. Discussing with yourself about your tailor. Coming back into your office. Perhaps you are not so surprised, but you see that damn stuffed squirrel has moved again. It was on the bookshelf when you left to do your Lyndon Johnson, and when you've come back, it has since found its way back onto your desk.
Good. I'd be upset if it didn't do anything. I'm going to put a cardboard box over it. Empty a box.
Just scatter the belongings elsewhere and cover the squirrel.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We'll worry about that later.
Squirrel has
I don't
been
want an
covered,
eyeball
though.
in
That's
me.
the important thing. Returning to your secretary Tina comes in just as you've placed the box over the squirrel, and she comes in with your mail, including the latest copy of After Midnight and a few of your magazine subscriptions.
Your name?
Tina, I tell you this
Tina,
every time.
what?
Tina,
quick last
suck
name,
my
somebody.
dick.
Spandangles.
Spandangles. Tina
Spandangles.
Spandangles.
Alright,
Spandangles.
I'm not gonna give her Spandangles. What the hell? Baldwin, I don't think would hire someone named Spandangle.
I think
That's
he
a smart
might.
move.
You think he might?
What's I've got to your name on your resume. You're hired. That's boom. Let's do it.
Then you would have remembered her name, most likely.
That's Tina Spandangles. Spandangles. Of the German Spandangles.
All right, hell of it, Spandoggles.
Fuck. It's Spandangles.
Spandangles.
So now we understand how she got this job.
You know, Miss Spandangles, I was going to give you a long, droning speech about how improper it is for you just to barge into my office when I get in here without, buzzing yourself or announcing yourself. But because I like your last name, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, where are you talking, Doctor?
Seemingly getting used to this type of discussions with you. She's thank you. Coincidentally, you've also got
You're welcome.
someone who calls himself. She brings out the notebook. A Detective Abe. And he specifically made sure it was in parentheses and wanted to be known that he is called Detective Abe, and he wants to speak with you.
He made that specific.
He was that specific.
What a fucking piece of shit. He's supposed to call me on my personal cell phone.
Well,
What kind of work ethic is this? Why doesn't he just hire a neon sign and hang it outside of my office saying, "Oh, Detective Abe, everybody!"
I will relay that.
God, discretion.
Well, he said you'd know who it was and would probably.
Where?
want to talk
How
to
did we find his name? Was he recommended? Did I get it out of the phone book? I don't even remember.
Oh, that would have.
Did I make you do it?
No, that more than likely Edmund would have been the one to bring him up.
Jesus Christ! Make sure that you remind me we never use this guy again. In fact, if he's got like Yelp ratings or anything like that, don't post him now. But I want you to make, I don't know, a couple dozen different identities, bad reviews about his discretionary problems.
Do detectives
She's
have
writing all this down
Yelp?
on a notebook.
Right.
as you
And
read
don't
your
get
lanes
caught.
to her.
If you do, I'm going to totally disavow you.
All right. Anything else?
Is there anything else?
Actually, yeah. Do you want to talk to this guy now, or should I push the meeting back with that insurance attorney?
No, I don't talk to attorneys either. You tell them I'm sick
All right.
for a long, long, long time.
Well, so she leaves. Moment or so comes by, and in comes Abraham, private detective. Probably one of
Mr.
the things-
Abraham, please have a seat.
One of the things that you gotta love about this guy is that while he does not dress anywhere near as sharp as you, he does have a cheaper Oxford shirt and ties and such, but he also has quite the porn stash like yourself. In a weird way, he almost kind of seems like looks a little like you, just a shabbier version. Almost like what you could have been. Oddly enough, I've actually had this guy since like 2006. Long before there was such a Dr. Baldwin, this was exactly how I wrote him up. So yeah, Detective Abraham Capone, private detective. So he has a seat. He's like, "Hey, you got a beer or anything?"
No,
All right then.
Mr. Capone. I do not have a beer.
Why not?
Do you have an ounce of discretion in your body?
I was for
If
what?
you want to set up a meeting, just call me on my private cell. We'll meet somewhere not in this office.
got news that's too good to just call you up. I thought I'd just stop by. Thought you'd want to be happy to see me. I got new news for you.
Well, I'm happy to see you, but I'd be happier to see you if it was in private. Maybe in a park. I don't know, a coffee shop, something like that. Not here at my place of business. This is where I work.
I kind of feel like your dirty little secret now.
You are my dirty little secret. This is my dirty little secret. And now, since you informed my secretary that you were here, if I find out she told anybody else, I'm going to have them killed. Not
right.
Really. That's ridiculous. But
It's all right. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what then.
I want you to read this note and tell me what it says.
It says 10 minutes? The hell's that mean?
That's how much time I have. Precisely 10 minutes. I'm very excited to hear what you want to say, so please, 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 present.
All right, well, so get this. I've been looking into this Julian cat for you. And I've been looking for this guy for months.
Just don't mention the name. We know who we're talking about.
Well, anyway, as you know, he just friggin' disappeared, right? The guy was right off the grid. And I hit the pavement hard, too, looking for this guy, and I found, some records and photocopies of his ownership at that Speakeasy Experience place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was some underhanded stuff that went down when he bought the place, and his credentials were fake, so get this. This guy doesn't exist.
Okay,
And
all right.
since then, it was recently bought by this other guy. Nice guy, too, from Brooklyn, and he even gave me a few drinks so long as I kept most of the shady stuff out of the discussion, right? So I've been digging a long time, these last 3 months, these last 3 months for you. And finally I got something. Last week I was looking up microfilms on old building transactions following a hunch. And would you believe that I found this guy again? Turns out that name is real, but he's over 100 years old. And he stopped using his name back in the 20s. According to at least what I could find. So following that lead, I found out he used to own the Emerald Bay apartment building. And would you know it, it's still around. It's right in the middle of that condemned area downtown, but nowadays it's called the Bristol Hill. I went to and I took some photos of this, here, and he hands you over a packet to take a look at these various photos of, it's very much a condemned looking building.
While he's talking, I'm going to go over to my mini fridge and grab him a beer. And I'll give him the beer as I take the photographs from him.
Thanks. You're okay. That's all I asked for earlier. Well, anyway, let me tell you what.
I was going to give him more, but not with that kind of comment.
This place is a pit, I gotta tell you. It's been in and out of use for years, and finally it got condemned sometime in the early 90s, and it's just, nowadays, it's full of bums and squatters and transients and punkers and crackheads, and I think there's probably even a meth lab going on in there. I watched this place for days hoping to get something useful, because hoping old habits died hard, am I right? Am I right? Well, this is why you pay me the big bucks, because I snapped this guy's pic the other night. He shows you a particular photograph. That's your guy right there. He's living in that pit.
Does that guy look familiar?
Oh yeah, it's the guy from the Speakeasy.
Okay.
It's
one
him.
from the Speakeasy.
The one that you've been looking for, that you sent this guy to find. And he found him. He's telling you it's taken him 3 months, but he's got him. And look at this. He's got a couple of new ladies in his life. I'm thinking vampires by the look of it all.
Shut the
Alright, a couple of goths by the looks of it all.
I'm going to tap on the box. The walls have ears. Mr. Capone.
Alright. I get it. Discretion. But that explains the real lack of activity in this place recently. See, people learn to stay away from these places when strange things happen. No one talks about it, but they all know to give it a wide berth, you know what I'm saying? And anyway, if you're thinking of having a meeting with this guy, I'm suggesting going in with some help. That hood's bad enough, but goth people is a whole other matter. Am I right?
Oh, you're right.
But anyway, 3 months. This guy was hard to find, but I got him. And he's right there in the photos, and I took pictures of all of that building all over for you.
I'm gonna need a written report of what you just told me.
Oh, it's right here in the
Sent
file.
to me.
I'm purely professional.
I'll just take that then.
You know, requests for beer
And
saying things.
You weren't
discretion
seen.
aside. Oh, of course not. So long as the check clears, I never heard of you. And you never heard of me then. I'm good with that.
You've done great work. Maybe, if I'm desperately in need of an investigator, I will give you a call.
Oh, don't worry about it. Edmund, yeah, I'm sure he spoke for me. No one finds these guys better than I do.
You are good at your job. Not necessarily good at the secrecy part, but then again, not everybody's perfect.
I would like to
Like
think,
me.
our fellow mustaches more than make up for that.
Your mustache is really nice, and I hope you have a really
Hey.
good day.
Yours is too.
Well,
Yeah, I hope you have a good day too.
My mustache is better than nice. It's quite perfect.
Honey. What are you going to do with this information now that you're hearing it?
Burn it!
Baldwin? Gonna set it all on fire right there in the office?
No, I'm not going to set it on fire. I'm going to clear my schedule, and I will go to the...
You're gonna diss the insurance attorney?
That's what
Again?
the hospital paid attorneys do. They deal with that stuff for me.
Alright.
They better. Otherwise, I'm going to burn their hospital down.
Why, that would be wrong.
I'm going to go find Dr. Smythe, because whatever he's doing is far less important than what I want him to do, and go over the things with him and tell him that we're going to need to do some preparations and then go kill us a vampire.
Smythe will state that's... I honestly, I didn't think I would have thought he'd have left town. I really didn't think he'd still be here. It's a brave individual. Fortunately, we happen to have a team that we can get assembled. They're actually about to start their next group therapy session, though. If you'd like to catch them over there, and if it really is at this hill that's right down the street from where the session is.
Well, we're not going to do it tonight.
Ah, well, fair enough.
We're going to need to prepare, and research, and find out what hurts vampires in Palladium World and what doesn't.
Well then, let me go collect.
We're going to have to procure some stakes, crosses, silver bullets, holy water, whatever works. Whatever doesn't work. Dynamite, fire, plagues, flesh-eating bacteria.
Getting on an intercom, young Kendra.
Bring us the flesh-eating bacteria samples.
Scratch that last remark, because officially they don't exist, but please bring us the Vampire Chronicles, will you? Looks like we have some research ahead of us, and hunting to be had. Dr. Baldwin, it's good to see you. I've missed you.
Dr. Smythe, don't get too excited.
And with that, I think we are at a good stopping point. We are well into Chapter 2 now next week. The group will meet up after a group therapy session to where Dr. Baldwin and Smythe will be waiting for them. We have research and potentially vampires to hunt.
Who can make me silver bullets? Can you make me silver bullets? Is that just for werewolves?
We have a munitions expert right over here.
I can make the silver bullets.
Good. Get us some silver.
All right.
But that is all for the next
That's
session.
the next episode.
Shannon, I'm glad we were able to help break in your dice tonight. You had some successful rolls, but otherwise it was what we expected from you.
I still love them.
Well, they are muy pretty.
Rainbows.
And puppy dogs and fairy tales.
No, I really will need a written report of what you just told me because I didn't write anything down because I figured you'd give me a written report. You can give me an edited version later. It's cool.
I will have actually, for the most part, I might clean this up a little bit and give that to you next week. Fair enough. That's easy. I got it all written down. This is why I write stuff down. Because not only does it make me sound, intelligible on the podcast, it makes me sound like I almost know what I'm doing. But that is everything for this episode, folks. I thank you all again for listening. Again, where was I going with all this? Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Subscribe to us. Give us feedback. We like that stuff. The feedback helps us know what's going on and what we like and what you don't like, and so on and so on. But otherwise, this is Steve.
Nick.
Kirk.
Arn.
Shannon.
And we're all wishing you all a very good night.
Bye.
Night.
Edmund places his digital recorder on the table between you both and presses the record button.
It accidentally hits play. It's sex play between him and his wife. Oh, yes, put it in again. Oh, we can hurry, you're messing it. Oh, no, ow.
So moist.
Okay, maybe that didn't happen. That's what's happening in my head.
Maybe. But see, when it happens in your head, you can't roleplay it, can you? You have to get it out. Just like I've been saying. If you know what I mean.
Gonna get